Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. I am Lady Calamere, and I welcome you to my channel. I am doing my 170th presentation, and it's going to be on the goddess Maeve. Who was she? What was she? And I'm going to be dismissing some things, and maybe it may ruffle someone's feathers, but it has to be said. Maeve, okay. So there's a lot of, we're going to be discussing who she is, her name, and dismissing some things about her. So let's just get right on to it. She, to some, and she's basically a bitch, whore, slut who is spiteful, vindictive, and mean and jealous. Let's dismiss this, okay? Because I know there are things that are written about her. And you have to understand something. Maeve has been demonized. Just like Hecate, who we know as Hecate here, Kali, she has been demonized. Like Hera, who we know as Hera here, but I'm just pronouncing their names right. So she's been demonized. However, she's also loved, even in Ireland. Ow! Why did you bite me? Loki bit me. Ow. Here. He wants to play fetch, so he bit me in the toe. That hurt. So anyways, she is a pseudo-historical lady / goddess. Now, ow, would you stop? Look at your ball. Now, he's already starting. Before the euro became popular, before it became popular in Ireland, on the legal currency, it was a punt, okay? And it was basically equal to £1. On it wasn't Jesus, wasn't Mother Mary, wasn't Bridget. It was a picture of Maeve. So right around, I think it was 2004, when the euro took over, and now that $1 punt is no longer legal currency. I mean, you can still buy it like on places like eBay, but look it up. It actually has a picture of Maeve on it. Now you gotta understand, as far as her sexuality, she was not a sexual object. 99% she had sex with men on her own terms, except for the time when Conchobar, her ex-husband, raped her at the Boyne River, in which, after that rape and humiliation of Maeve, a war began, and it was the Boyne War, and that the men of Ireland did not like this, and the nations, the kings and their kingdoms went to war, but lost. However, that's the only time she was treated as a sex object. Now, you have to understand the ways of the ancients, the ancient pagans, were not the ways of the prudish Christians, the church that took over. The ways of the pagans, of how they lived and what they did and what they practiced, and their sexual freedom, including women, were different from the way the church wanted them to be. She represented the land. No king can rule unless they married her. She would not allow it. If you want to be king, you have to marry me. Where was she queen at? She was the queen of Connacht. That was the western part of Ireland. And if she was a real figure, they guesstimate around anywhere from like 50 BCE to 50 CE. Some say 100 BCE to 100 CE. So that's if she was an actual figure. Some believe that she was an actual figure and a queen, and that's it. Others say she was a queen as well as a goddess. Others say no, she wasn't a queen, an actual figure. She is the goddess, and these are just the stories about her. Now, let me clear something up, and I know I'm going to ruffle feathers. She is not the Morrigan. She's not an aspect of the Morrigan. She's not one of the sisters of the Morrigan, nor should she be confused with. She should not be confused with the fairy queen of the Britain, of England, Maeve, Queen Maeve. She is not the fairy queen. Okay? Now, he bit me again. He see this ball he has me throwing. He's playing fetch. He's so cute. So let me get that clear. She is none of these. So she, when we look at different aspects, some people only say, oh, maiden, mother, crone. I like to say there's more depth to that of maiden. I like to associate the maiden in the east, the warrior goddess of the south, the mother goddess to the west, the crone to the north, and the sovereign queen. Her aspect, I mean, yes, she was a mother. However, her aspect fits more towards sovereign queen. She had control over herself. Even though she was married and everything, she had control over herself, and no man can rule unless they married her. And she can divorce them too. She had several husbands. But anyways, let's get into her name, Maeve. The popular belief is that her name means to be intoxicated or intoxicating. And that her name derives from mead. And okay, so if anyone read something by Heinrich Zimmer, he writes about her about that she is basically a hussy, a spiteful bitch, jealous, vindictive, and a slut. And that any woman to act like her would have to be drunk and intoxicated. So he really pushed that forward of her name meaning to be drunk. I mean, a normal woman would act like her. I mean, you know, a woman's not going to go out to war and show that she's the best of the warriors. She's not going to be divorcing husbands, and she's not going to, you know, claim her own sexuality. And of course, a woman's place is to serve a man. Didn't you know that? To cook, clean, and be barefoot, pregnant, and shut the hell up. Oh, no. Maeve is nothing like that. She, even during the Ulster cycle, which starts becoming more patriarchal, but even during the Ulster cycle, she had control of herself. She held the power, and she could take away or give. Yes, she was a very powerful warrior. Out of her sisters, of all her sisters, she even said that she was the most giving, the most generous. She was the most beautiful. She was the most intelligent, the most wise, and the best of warriors. That she can outdo them. But what does her name mean? Maeve. So what am I getting into? Maeve. This name was contested about 100 years later and re-examined to see where the etymology comes from. That she's not the drunk woman. She's never portrayed as being drunk and, pissing herself and puking all over. She was never portrayed that way. That she had the power to intoxicate you. That she had control and power. Her name comes from that of actual kingship. That she had more power than a regular queen. When we view kings and queens in history, who has the power? Not the queen. The king has more power. Not so with her. So her name deals with rulership. And to be sovereign. That she controls. You don't control her. Now, why is she sexually promiscuous? Well, she is the land. She is, again, the ways of the ancients are not the ways of the prudish church. However, she has a geishe, which is spelled Geise, but it's pronounced geishe. And her geishe, which means taboo. And now this taboo, a geishe is brought on by three main things. 1, a birth prophecy. 2, an oath. 3, brought on by a curse. Now the geishe could be, if you break the geishe, it could be something as bad luck, dishonorment, and even death. So what is her geishe? She cannot marry or stay married to someone. 3 things that they cannot be. They cannot be a coward. They must be brave. They cannot be selfish. They must be generous. And they cannot be jealous. If they are jealous, any of those things, she has to say, see you later, alligator. Here's the divorce, sign the divorce papers. Divorce papers are in the mail. That's why she moved on from one husband to another, because they became fuck nuggets. So her first husband, Conchobar Macnessa, who is a real shit, by the way. Oh yeah, that was the same Conchobar Macnessa who made a 9-month pregnant woman race his horses. That was a different goddess, one of the Makas. It's spelled Macha, but it's pronounced Maka. Made her race, and she went into labor. And this is really, really important. That if I have time, I'll discuss the source. But she put a curse on the men of Ulster for several generations, for several days, during a war or a battle comes out, that the men will fall into pains of labor. Like they made her suffer. She suffered under Conchobar Macnessa because of his own pride, because one of his constituents said, stupidly boasted when he was told not to by Maka, "My wife, pregnant wife, can race any horse and win." So the king put him to the test and made her race. And she fell into labor after racing. It's such a horrible thing. So yeah, we're talking about a real fuckwad. And plus he rapes Maeve, and plus he's just so jealous, stingy, and cowardly. Now anyways, why did she marry him? Well, it wasn't her own free will. Her father now I don't know how to really pronounce this name. He was the king of the kings, the high king, not just any ordinary king. Eochaid. No, don't break my shit. I'm sorry. Eochaid. Hi, Shadow. Did we just have Loki here and now we have Shadow? Her father killed. I gotta stop this. Be right back. Knock it off, Loki. Her father killed Conchubar's father in a battle. So he had to play a thing called an Eric, which is pretty much like a wergild, a payment for a death. So he married several of his daughters to him, including her. Well, this was an unhappy marriage. Sort of like the unhappy marriage her mother and father has. And her father, like I said, Eochaid Feidleach. Feidlach, I believe. Feidlach. And her mother was Krokin or Kuraku Krobdirk. Come on, stop biting me. So they start their marriage start kind of going down the toilet. And she divorces Conchubar. She leaves him, divorces him at the Hill of Tara. She's like, "See you later, alligator." So she also has other husbands, and come on, you are really distracting me. This is why this is my second take on this, because he was just being a little fuck nugget, just biting into me, and hurts his little teeth. He's a big boy now. He shouldn't be biting mommy. No, you're not biting me. Her other boyfriends and boy toys. Her other husband. I'm really getting at it. Come on. If you want to play fetch, give me the ball. Don't come up to me and start biting me. Eochaid Dala. She also had her other husband is Alil Macmata, who was a prince of Leinster, who later becomes the king of Connacht because of her. But she also, her other boy toys was Fergus MacRourke, who Alil kills him, and that was her favorite boy toy. She also had Tinny MacConry, but she kills Alil for it later on. And this is why she's considered spiteful and mean and horrible. But she didn't do anything less than other kings did. In fact, she wasn't as mean as some of the kings. And let me tell you, she represents the sovereignty of the land. If the king is no longer a good king, well, then he is removed. He is dethroned, and Maeve would dethrone him either through divorce or she'd kill him. She is the land. So anyways, her colors are red as well as gold, but main colors is red. Her celebrations are two celebrations that are very sacred to her, or Samhain and sorry. Would you stop? Not Samhain. Well, Samhain, yeah, yeah. But also, oh no! Maeve and Beltane. So Maeve and Beltane are big celebrations for her, as well as Samhain. You are not... Give me the ball. Don't go in and digging your teeth into me. Now, when we talk about the Kule, ow! No! Which is the tidal wave of Kuli. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you, honey. You're just biting me and it hurts. She is considered the start of that war through her spite. You gotta understand is that the cattle raid of Kuli wasn't start because of some pillow talk. This hatred between Connacht, the kingdoms of Connacht and Ulster, has been brewing, especially in Maeve's mind and what was done to her. I mean, she was raped by her ex-husband, and her ex-husband was a fuck nugget. And you know, when the men went to war, they lost, which was even more of a humiliating defeat for her. So not only does she get raped, but she loses the battle against her rapist. So it wasn't just because of jealousy. The pillow talk was just the cauldron boiling over. And that was between her last husband, Alil. Well, she had other lovers. But her other husband, Alil, is the one who was being a shit nugget and doing something that she wasn't supposed to be, being jealous. And it's so, I just wanted to clear that up in case I don't have time to discuss what happened. Hey, Loki. That's him playing fetch. Maeve, yes, about the mead part. Yes, she did serve mead. She would, who would I serve this mead to? And the mead that she would serve, and the mead that they had, was actually red. It wasn't the golden mead, it was red. But she would make the king they would have to, you know, her friendly, willing thighs and the mead. I like how they put it, the friendly, willing thighs. Basically have sex with her. Also, the king had to be brave. he had to go into the Owi Nagat. And the Owi Nagat was, I discussed that in the Morgan presentation I did, which means the Cave of the Cat. And basically she had a sacred place. Her palace was above that cave. And the Cave of the Cat, where actually 3 cats, monstrous cats, came out of. It's very important to know this. This is in Rath Krohan. And Rath, Rathcroghan. This is the sacred capital of Connacht. And at this site, this cave is actually renamed by the Christians the portal to hell. A cave to hell, where they say monsters and demons come out, especially at a certain time. Keep this in mind, that the king had to go into that cave and travel through it and then come back out. And yay, it's part of his coronation. Some people say it's a place of evil, but others feel when they go in, they use it as a place of healing and spiritual journeying. And it's a cave. It's like this little, like this hole, and that you have to kind of crawl through, and then you go in, and then the parts of it is narrow, very narrow. I mean, claustrophobic narrow. This is the site that's very important. This is the site in Ireland where it said that Samhain, the festival, originated from, at this cave. And at that place, which is spelled Samhain but pronounced Samhain, you know, Halloween, Hallows Eve. So here we see her connected with Samhain. This cave is sacred to Maeve, as well as the Morrigan. The cave, the Owi Nagat, Oweynagat, is sacred to Maeve and the Morrigan. What you want, Joker? Her sacred creatures, well, or the bulls, cattle, basically, swine, which are pigs, wolves, squirrels, and birds. I got this at Sacred Source. They have beautiful statues, and it has so much imagery in it. Maeve was a sorceress and a witch, very powerful in the magical arts. She knew how to work the land and how to cast spells. She knew how to heal and curse her enemies. She is a goddess of witches. She deals with the otherworldly spirits. But she was no fairy queen, as people like to conflate her with, or confuse her with Queen Maeve. So, yes, she had a dark side as well as a light side. Yes, she's considered a lot of people by dark goddess. Her sacred places, or of course, the Cave of the Cat, the Oweynagat. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. Cruachan, which is the capital of the ancient Connacht, and Connacht is sacred to her as well as Cruachan. Maeve's cairn, is on Naknera Mountain. So this is actually believed one of the places, possible places, where her body was interred, buried at. So Naknera, the Naknera Mountain in County Sligo, is one of the places. We have, I said the Hill of Tara, right? The Hill of Tara, just in case. Maeve has a sacred pool in Clothran Island, now called Lowry, then called, Quakers Island. That's what I was thinking about. So this is a sacred place, a sacred pool in Clothran Island in Lowry, that is now called Quakers Island. Those are some of her most secret places. Maeve is also a goddess of war. She is a goddess of fertility, sovereignty, sex, procreation, death. She deals with death. She is the goddess of the land. She is a goddess of women's rights. She is a goddess of the matriarchy. She never, ever cowered to her man, nor will she allow a man to take over her power, or to disgrace her. Cuchulainn learned. Oh, he learned the hard way. Her and Cuchulainn, they're enemies. Do not put them together. He was very patriarchal. Yes, he was considered a hero, but the way he acted, he dismissed the Morrigan by, insulting her femininity, and he insulted femininity of Maeve during the raid of the Battle of cattle raid of Cooley, where she was by the river and she was menstruating, and he caught her in her menstruation, and she was like, I'm menstruating, and he puts her down. Oh, I don't kill women. And he insulted her and thought it was disgusting to see her menstruating. And she never forgave him for that. After the battle of the cattle raid of Cooley, in 7 years' time, she would come back against Ulster, and she would have him killed. I mean, he took it like a warrior. He had a warrior's death. He died standing up. But she made him damn sure that he was going to pay for what he did. She will not tolerate being insulted. The connections I can actually find her with the Morrigan is that the Morrigan, sometimes she would help Cuchulainn, but sometimes she would go against him, and she prophesied his death. Remember how I talked about Cuchulainn and Morrigan? Plus, the Morrigan deals with the Cave of the Cat. Plus, the Morrigan deals with the sovereignty as well as the land. Other than that, I really can't find any other connection. Maeve has children. She has many children. She has children with her lover of Fergus. She has Cormac and Ciar. By allele, she renames them the seven Maine. How do they get Maine? How do they get the name Maine? Why did she rename them? Well, she went to her druid, and she wanted a prophecy, and she asked her druid about how can I have my ex-husband Concubar Magnessa, the fuck nugget, to be killed. He said that the druid said the son was already born, and his name is Maine. So she thought, the sons of Allele. These are her sons of Allele. I know what I'm going to do. And she has a way of switching prophecies that... Well, she actually said Concubar, not Concubar Magnessa. She said Concubar, so it's very important. She renames her 7 sons' Maine so that she was surely... One of them would kill Concubar, and which they do, but not Concubar Magnessa, unfortunately. She didn't ask which Concubar. They kill a different Concubar. One of them kills a different Concubar. Hey, Concubar is dead, right? But not the Concubar she wanted dead. So her son so these sons originally was Athramale, Mathramael, Tai, Morgor, Ando, Moy, Pirit, M-O with a hyphen on the O, E-P-I-R-T. There's another one, Scott. And so the 7 were renamed as Maine. She does have a son named Orlam by him. And she has 2 daughters by him. By Concord Magnessa, she only has 1 son. Now, the Concubar that was killed by her son was done by, what was it, Mainando. He kills Concubar. So, but not the Concubar she wanted killed. Maeve, it was described, a lot of people like to say she has red hair and black hair in the stories and in mythology. She's described as tall, pale, very beautiful, strong, with long blonde hair. In every story, she's described like that. Sometimes she's wearing dressed, in full breastplate and in an arm carrying a sword, and she is dressed like a warrior. Others, she's dressed in like this purple gown with gold all around her, wearing gold in the back and in the front, but always with blonde hair. I just thought I would bring that up. So now you got an image of her with long, like wavy, curlyish blonde. Some people like to say it's wavy, or from what I understand, like I don't think it was exactly straight, but blonde hair. Now, Maeve was also very generous. She believed in generosity. She was also herself very brave. Maeve makes kings, and she'll break them too, as her right as sovereignty and of the land. Go get me the ball and stop biting me. God, he left the ball in the other room and he comes right up to me and he bites me right in the foot. There's Shadow, our old cat. He's going to be 19 years old in July. Now, as... what was I going to say? Excuse me, I don't have a script, so... and I don't go around writing down notes. So, how she dies is through the son of her sister. Her own nephew kills her out of revenge. But interesting enough is that someone's phone keeps ringing. Is that, what's her name? It's one of her sisters. Well, she's married to her first husband. No biting me! Concubine Macnessa. Swear that hurts. Ow! Let me go get him a ball. Oh, this is annoying. You're annoying, mister. So her sister, oh God, Itoin, spelled E-T-E with a hyphen T-A-I-N, and the I has a hyphen, so it would be Itoin or Etoin in the Gaelic language. There's stories about her getting back at Conchubar, and that she becomes jealous, and that she takes her pregnant sister, and drowns her in the river. And that the boy was saved. The body was found, and the boy was saved through cesarean section, through being birthed through a sword, put into opening up the uterus, open up the belly, pulling the baby out of the uterus, and saving his life. Fuck's sakes. What? I can't leave this on the floor. It's just from his bowl. And he later gets revenge at her and finds her in her pool. And he asks who that is. And they said, oh, that's your aunt, the one who killed your mother. So he goes every day and he practices with a slingshot. And one day he finds her again, bathing. And he takes, oddly enough, a hard piece of cheese and slings it. And hits her right dead in the center of her head. It cracks her skull open and she's dead. Drew cheese nonetheless. Now, there's also another story about how her sister died, is that a farmer was plowing the land and he stuck the plow into the river, which represents, you know, the boy being born through cesarean section. But there's also another guy, his name was, I think it was, oh, how do I pronounce his name? Nethjarg of the Red Stripes, that actually kills his sister. There's also stories about, you know, how the boy, you know, drew birth, that the river, she drowns in her own, the lady drowns in her own water, and there comes the son, her baby. So either way, those are the different stories of how her sister died. However, the boy does take his revenge, and again, one could say he took her revenge because of all the wars against Ulster. Now, how did the Tonbo Kunia start? Well, it was, again, she had a seething hatred and against that king. And one night, after making love with her husband, Alil, her third husband, she was saying about how she's happy with him, how he has none of this jealousy, and how he's brave. And then he turns around, how lucky it is for her to marry a rich man. She's like, say what? Yeah, you're so lucky to have married me. And she said, I paid a big price to marry you. And that he says, well, he mentions all his skills and all the things he can do, and she mentions everything that she can do, and there they are equally matched. Then he says, well, I have more money and I have more power. Now you got to understand, the rulership between a king and queen was not through who's male or female. It was more of who has the most. And whoever has the most now controls the kingdom, now controls the land, and is head of the household. So here we see the patriarchy saying, I have more than you have. Well, then they had everything. They had called their servants and had everything brought into their big chambers of pots, pans, silks, whatever, the fine clothes they had, and all their jewelry and all their money, and they were equally matched until he brings his cow in, his beautiful white cow, who is a bull. Sorry, there's no such thing as a male cow. His bull. Bull is the male. And now he has more than her. So she's there. She's getting angry. So she had her servants search the land for something as good as the bull. Even better. And they said Don Cooley is the best bull around. It's a beautiful brown bull owned by Dara. So she dispatched messengers to Dara with a proposal that if he lets her have a bull for a certain amount of time, she will give him some land, some money, and even sex. Dara thought about it. He said yes. So when the messengers come to pick up the bull, and with their gifts, Dara throws a great banquet for them. And then they get drunk on all the mead and ale. And they were just talking to each other. It's funny how Dara is just giving her the bull, when in reality, she if he didn't give it to her, she would just take it. Well, servants told Dara this, and he was, the next morning, when they went to pick up the bull, they said, why isn't the bull ready? And he said, you're not telling your queen Maeve she's not getting the bull. No way, no how, deal's over. So the servants come back, her messengers come back, and said, bad news, queen, he's not giving you the bull. She says, oh, really? Prepare for war. That's how the war started, and it was a nasty war. And during the battle, she sent Cuchulainn, was the only one that can fight, because all the men in Ulster, they were down and out for the next few days with labor pains. It was a curse by Macha. Not by Maeve, but by Macha. Some sources say that she's the one that caused them to have the pangs. And they could not fight. They could not fight. Only Cuchulainn. And she sent her warriors one by one after him, and he bested them all. Cuchulainn bested them all. So while finally the men are able to fight again, and it becomes nasty, the men of Ulster are able to fight again. While they're fighting, they stole the bull, Don Cooley, and they brought them over to her land. And when these two bulls meet, the white and brown bull, they fight each other. The white bull is killed pretty much right away, almost right away, but the brown bull is damaged, and he dies a few days later. His heart just gives out. So now King Aleo no longer has the white bull. She doesn't have the brown bull. So yep, she's back to being sovereign, back to her power again. She does later on gets rid of the king because he killed Fergus. She cannot be with someone who is jealous, and he did it out of jealousy. And she already told him that she can have... Oh my God, they're biting me. That there is always a man waiting in the shadow of another man for her. So here I have a piece of amber, a skull, and the Morrigan back there. So Maeve is an extraordinary, powerful shapeshifter. She can make herself appear as any age she wants to, look the way she wants. She is a shapeshifter. Modern shows that shows Maeve, Anyone watches The Boys on Amazon Prime? Oops, that was a right word to tablet. Ow! Where she's depicted as Queen Maeve. The lady's called Queen Maeve, but she's a warrior. Very beautiful. So what else can I talk about Queen Maeve? I've been talking about 56 minutes already about her. Offerings. 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 Let's talk about offerings. Okay. She loves gold. She loves jewelry. She does like... people do give her mead. Wine. Especially whiskey. She loves the hard... She's given hard drinks. You can't go wrong with chocolate, especially the good kind, like Ferrero Rocher, Lindt, Godiva. Other offerings would include, oh my God, he's being so cute. What's he got in his mouth? Oh, okay. Here he comes again. And by the way, let me explain this. Potatoes are an Irish staple, but they're actually from Peru. They were not native to Ireland. But some people do like to give her Irish foods, just saying. Some people have they give her nice things, like some places raven feathers are illegal to possess, so just check. So anyways, like raven feathers, that's why I bring this up. Some people like to give her hazelnuts and nuts and flowers, red candles, fruit, apples, especially apples. I know that's fruit too. They like to give her baked goods. So just thinking like bread, cakes, apple cider, as well as hard cider, flowers, fresh water, they like to give her like traditional Irish food. Just think Irish soda bread. With or without currants. Currants are like a type of, like, it looks like a raisin, but it's not. Irish stew. Anything that's Irish, give to her. She's gonna teach about power, about owning your power, and not letting anyone take it away from you. She teaches about standing up for yourself, holding your head high, to fight for what you believe in, to honor yourself, to help you to regain your strength, to channel that warrior essence, But she's also very, that nurturing female aspect, and to be wise. She teaches generosity and bravery. She teaches you not to be jealous. For she teaches strategy and strategize solutions. To stand up in the face of conflict. Sometimes being non-confrontational is not good. Sometimes you have to be confrontational. Sometimes when you're not confrontational, you get to be used like a walking mat. Sometimes you just have to say, no, no. This is bullshit. She helps. Oh, also another offering is honey cakes. Sorry. Honey cakes and honey. Honey too. But back to what I was saying. She helps you during times of trauma. For healing, for during times of trauma, illness, or dealing with loss. She helps us to find the power that we always had, and the power that is around us, and use it. She teaches witchcraft and magic. She will help you with spell casting. She will help you write that ritual. She will help you with that. Now, Maeve is about protection as well. She can help you curse as well as heal, as well as protect. So offensive and defensive magic. You got that enemy who is taunting you, who is bothering you, you can call upon Queen Maeve. Oh, baby, you got drippy eye again. I brought this up to the vet, and he has to take lysine. Stop it! Because of he has herpes simplex in his eye, and it's going to be drippy. And that's basically what I have to get for him. But I was spending all the money on his antibiotics and medicines he had to take. His antibiotic and his prescription. But he's doing pretty good. I just wipe his eyes. It's nothing like an infection where he needs antibiotic. That happened once when he got like his eye scratched. So he had to be put on antibiotic. And that was when he was like more of an older kitten, around 10 months. Loki! He was the sick cat that I asked everyone to keep, and do please keep sending healing spells to him. Anyways. Oh God. So she is a goddess. Oh! She deals with... Stop! Life as well as death. Yes, she is a goddess that deals with death. Why do you keep biting my foot? You had no interest in biting my foot until I was doing this presentation. None whatsoever. Here he comes. Okay. I'll be right back. I gotta get him a ball because he's attacking my feet like a little fucking shark. anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you like this presentation, give me a thumbs up. If not, then give me a thumbs down. Let me know what you think of Maeve. Have you ever worked with her? Do you worship her? What offerings have you given to her? I want to know what your opinions on Maeve. There's still a lot to learn about this goddess, and she is spelled different ways. M-E-B-D-M-A-E-V-E, M-E-B-D-H. But I want to know what you think. So, why do you do this? So if you like my content, please subscribe, because it helps me to know I'm doing a good job and allows my channel to grow. And I do not have a Patreon account, so all these videos are free. I don't get paid even by YouTube. I don't even have enough subscribers even if I wanted to monetize it. But I do not get paid for this. So as payment to me, please subscribe to my channel. And also, if you want, send spells my way for protection and for healing, especially of my cat, Shadow, the old cat, and Loki Lofison, the one that keeps biting my foot. And so that his urinary problems will go away. I'm doing all I can. He's doing good right now. But I'm doing all I can on my end. And spending all the money I can. But yeah, send spells and magic for protection and let prosperity come to me, abundance of good things. You know, you can send money spells, you do money spells my way, but I'm not asking you to give me one dime. So even if you see this video in like 10 years from now, I accept your good spells of money, prosperity, and healing for my cat, and let Loki live a very long life. My cat, Loki Lofison. He was born, if this helps you, September 2nd. That's his birthday. Of 2021. And Shadow will be 19 in July. So, and he was born in 2004. If that helps you any. So anyways, I want to thank you for watching this. And I really appreciate it. Please be kind to animals. And if you want to spend money, then, you know, you can make a donation to any charity you like and say in the name of Lady Calamere. That's good enough payment too. I'm not asking you for a dime. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a great day or night. And remember, this channel contains the 4 C's: cats, craziness, chaos, and cuteness. And as always, blessed be.